years ago when my mother was playing cribbage, she's 92 now and can't play a game of cribbage, but we went up to Tacoma to play in a regional tournament. And my mother at the time, I think, was probably 82 or 83. And she had a 17 card and I had a 15 card on the morning session. And Mitch called us up and said, now you know about George. He said his mother had a 17, he had a 15. So you know that she taught him all he knows about cribbage, but she didn't teach him all she knows about cribbage. Same. Does anybody? I think maybe I got over here too far. If we do this again, I'm not really into marking a spot on the floor, and I hadn't really considered any form of makeup. But it seems like if we do this again, and of course I'd be another year older, so makeup might be critically important. You know, I would like people to think that I might survive one more week. So, but I don't know. I'm colorblind. You'd have to tell me what's my color look like on there.
Good color.
Is it? My wife says if I shaved this off, I'd look 20 years younger. I'd say at my age, who wants to look 20 years younger? I mean, I'd only be 78 then. Yeah. I give away my hand lots of times when I shouldn't, and after I've said it, well, that was dumb, wasn't it? I didn't want that damn 8 spot. Oh, I lead a 7. Because I got a Jack, Queen, King. See, I didn't want that damn 8 spot. So my opponent, I guess, could believe that I had a big hand because I led the 7, or they could have believed that, I'll tell you the truth, what I say the first time is that's the truth. I didn't want that damn 8 spot. Or I threw a pair of 4s to my crib. I do that all the time. Somebody will lead a 4, and I say, shoot, I threw a pair of 4s to my crib. Well, they know my hand doesn't look like anything that goes with 4s, right? If there was one little element to remember about discarding to your opponent, is that the king is the safest of all balking cards. The queen is slightly behind it. But the king, if you looked at the king and followed it through with a 10, with a 9, with an 8, with a 7, with a 6, with a 4, with a 3. I left the 5 out, you notice. I hope you're not going to do that one. But I got about Don here talked to me about Alzheimer's disease when he came in tonight, and he wondered if I would teach a class on it and how folks could cope better when they notice the symptoms.
He didn't have it last week.
In a cribbage game. He seems to notice these symptoms when they crop up in a cribbage game, but not at other points. And so he says he's written his phone number down, see, because he wants to be sure and have it handy. Well, you could write down the 10 discards, too, if really that was important to you. That could be on a slip of paper. So you'd not only have your phone number, your home address, and, I mean, do you have to write down your wife's number or her name? I mean, if you call her up and call her Shirley and her name is Jane, you should have missed the call. You'd have been ahead, forget the number. So don't give up just because the hand looks pretty crappy. Oh, excuse me. What is an appropriate synonym for crappy? It's some kind of a fish that lives around the railroad bridge pier, isn't it? A crappie? Yeah. My brother catches them crappies all the time. And you still got the 6-7 back if you're needing pegs as the dealer to trap the 5. And most people won't lead the 5, so if they got one, generally, you got a good chance to get it. Todd, he'll get rid of it. But there's a lot of folks who just hang on to that sucker right on down to the last card. Oh, gee, many, he got lucky. That sucker gets lucky on me every time I play him. It isn't that he's figured out that you hold a 5 till the end of the play all the time. No. Couldn't have nothing to do with that. Okay. See, next year I'm going to hire me somebody to flip these pages. Hey, the first line here. John in Rhode Island. If you're seeing this, look at that name across the top of the page. John Chambers. And the first thing is straight from your book. Position first, odds second. Other one. And you see people like that. But I think that most people that appear to have some real ability didn't start out with a whole lot. They build on it. They build on it. They developed it. So there's hope for us all. Even me. Yeah, that's why I keep showing up. See, I would have stayed home. If I didn't think there was something in this class for me, I'd have stayed home. And then you'd all wondered what happened. Well, I must have insulted him last week. Would you think he'd be this way, so one way? That he'd have all of us drive here from Wenatchee and catch the ferry boat from Vashon Island and not even bother to show up? Wow, can you imagine? I gotta be good. I can't think of an excuse that would justify my absence. I suppose if I live another 10 years, I might be looking at a more sedentary lifestyle. So playing cribbage on the internet's beginning to sound more like a good pastime.
See, I'm not getting enough exercise.
Okay, I hope I can get to the computer. Right now, I'm working pretty heavily in the yard, which keeps me away from the computer quite a bit. So, and I hope to do that for some time yet. Now, if your opponent gets 40 points ahead of you, probably these zones don't make any sense either. No, don't make any more sense than DeLynn Culver's positional hold to know these zones when it looks like your opponent is setting at hole 72 and dealing, and you're at 40. Probably it doesn't do you a lot of good in that game to remember this. In fact, it'd probably be good in that game if you just forgot the entire game.
Yeah.
But
don't cringe.
Yeah.
When you see bad play, don't give away things. You know, and you see that.
Oh, wow! Can you believe it? No.
That happened to me the other night when I was destroying the guy's you know,
I don't think
grand slam.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did say that, and you wonder why I didn't learn that. I keep showing up here to shoot off my mouth, and you said one of the most important things was to be quiet. Oh, playoffs. If my brother's there, or my wife is in the playoffs, and I make a point of standing behind their chair while they're playing my wife or my brother, even though I might have some reputation for being somewhat honest, they begin to wonder, you know, maybe I am sending some signals. My neighbor claims that he has sex on the phone.
Uncomfortable.
Well, I don't know. He says he does it every day, sometimes twice. So I guess, you know, if you can find a variety of uses for your phone, I guess you would want to carry it with you. Make a lot of sense. Where did this all start?
I have a question about watching somebody.
Somebody standing behind your chair.
Went to cell phone.
Now see how far this can branch out? Look at the opportunities for learning if you just apply this kind of branching out to all of these aspects of cribbage we've discussed.
Can you
Wow.